Hey, everybody, welcome back to session 2 on how to set New Year's intentions that work. My name is Cheri Neal, and it is my absolute delight to be here with you tonight, sharing tips that I have learned over the years to truly create a life that I love. So let's go ahead and get started. So last session, I shared with you a few myths that I've busted. And if you missed it, make sure you go back and watch it. But here were the high points, right? Number one lesson is that there are no universal wish laws. It's all a lie. And so the bottom line is if you want your wishes to come true, you have to be willing to share them. The second lesson was that baby steps always lead you to what you want if you're willing to embrace the learning step backward. Right? And the third myth is that journaling isn't something that you have to do every day to be able to claim that you journal. Having a journal is actually just a space that you capture your thoughts and anything that matters to you from the entire year, right? And so last session, I gave this handout with just some primers, things to consider to help you get your thoughts going when you journal, okay? So on with the show. So this session, I'm going to share what else keeps us stuck and consider how to free ourselves to truly create a life we love. If you've taken any program with me or heard me speak, you most definitely have heard some of this before. But I'm begging you, listen with new ears. I've been studying David Emerald and Donna Zajanc's work for years and years now, and it seems to have this simmering effect over time as more and more meaning sinks in with each review. Okay, so go back to this. Okay, so these two humans, David and Donna, in their books have done more to help me than almost anyone else. I strongly recommend the book, The Power of TED, to everyone. Right? 3 Vital Questions is more gauged to a corporate work environment. Who Do You Want to Be is directed towards coaches. And The Politics of Hope is for anyone interested in public service. It's one of my all-time favorite books. But it's also for those who just want a new paradigm about how public service can triumph over politics. Okay. You ready? Buckle up, Buttercup. Tonight's session is more academic than inspiration. But if you want to set New Year's intentions that work, you have to understand this stuff. So this is David Emerald's quote: where people put their focus, engages in them an emotional inner state, which drives their behavior, right? And the acronym for the statement is FISBE, not frisbee. FISBE is a way to remember it. Right? Focus, inner state, and behavior. So I'm going to read it one more time. Where people put their focus, right, engages them in an inner state, which then drives their behavior. Let's play with this a little bit. Right? Think about something that matters to you that you're frustrated with. Right? Just think of something. Some people have like, well, which thing? I've got 20 things, right? And other people, it'll take a little bit. But think about something that's frustrating you that really, really matters. And just come up with it. It could be a work issue or a home issue or a health issue, finance issue, home repair issue, relationships, could be anything. Okay. So you got it? Take a moment to really focus on it. How do those thoughts make you feel? Can you feel it? Yeah. Okay, so you're feeling the feeling that came from the thought. Now, what does it make you want to do? For me, sometimes it's eat ice cream or go to bed or go shopping or get mad, right? Different ways that it makes me want to react. Okay, so you got that? So you thought about something that frustrated you, right? You had the feeling. and then we react in whatever way that is. Okay. Now I want you to sit back and take a deep breath. If you're comfortable closing your eyes. I want you to literally breathe in your heart space, breathe in to your chest and breathe out of your chest. Figuratively, obviously. Let's try and fill your heart with your air. Now I want you to think about something that you really love and appreciate. Breathe that in. How does that make you feel? How does it make you want to respond? Quite a difference, isn't it? So this is our universal operating system, how all humans respond. What we focus on engages us in an emotional inner state, which then drives our behavior. This is how our universal operating system, how all humans respond. What we focus on engages us in an emotional state, which then drives our behavior. Have you ever been caught off guard by road rage? Or wait, this one's even worse, right? How about being held hostage on a customer service phone line, trying to get an issue resolved, right? Can you feel that? Woo! I can feel it right here. Even just like saying those words out loud, I can feel the stress of it. We all live by this universal operating system. Just like a computer has an operating system, this is ours. Like I said, David Emerald dubbed it FISB as a way to remember it. It's a universal operating system that whatever we focus on causes us to feel a certain way, impacting our inner state, and that causes our behavior. Got it? Now, I know I'm being like extremely redundant here, but it matters that you get this. At a deep level, it matters that you get this. Donna Zajanc said that the best thing you can do for yourself is to fall in love with this human operating system, because everything responds from there. There's actually two primary orientations that come from this, right? Or ways to look at the world based on the system that we're going to get into. But for you to recognize that the power of your whole life, right, is determined by you understanding that what you focus on determines everything else. So there's two primary orientations. First is the problem orientation, right? You can focus on the problem. The second is the outcome orientation, for you to focus on an outcome. So let me explain more. Okay. So in the problem orientation, right? So you're focused on the problem, right? There's a problem going on and that's what your focus is. And so when your focus is on the problem, right? You can see the little plus sign there, your anxiety goes up, right? And so when your anxiety goes up, your reaction goes up, right? You react because you're feeling anxious, and so you react. So if you have a problem and you get anxious and you react to the problem, what happens to the problem? The problem goes down. And so if the problem goes down, the anxiety goes down, right? And if the anxiety goes down, then you don't need to react anymore. You think that everything's fine, but it's not, because guess what? The problem comes back. And this is the result. It's like a roller coaster. How many of you have had the same argument for the last 20 years? This is why you never actually address the problem. You just address the anxiety that was caused by the problem, right? You address the inner state, but you didn't change the focus. So now let's look at the outcome orientation, right? When you're focused on the outcome, what you want, right? It causes you to feel passion inside, excitement. If I really could have what I wanted, that would be incredible. And so when you're thinking about what you want, and like I talked about last week, as you establish baby steps to get there, right? The outcome goes up. And so this is the trajectory of what you want. Now it's not straight like that, right? Because when we talk about baby steps, there's steps backward, there's learning steps backwards, there's quantum leaps. And so it's like this, but it's a trajectory going up towards what you want every time. But now let's talk about, with us talking about breathing, let's look at our air quality, right? And air actually stands for our attention, our intention, and the results. So in the problem orientation, our attention is on what we don't want. But in the outcome orientation, we're focused on what we do want. In the problem orientation, our intention is to get rid of or away from the problem, the anxiety, to take it out of being, right? To numb up. But in the outcome orientation, it's to move toward the outcome, to bring it into being. In the problem orientation, the results are roller coaster, episodic, and short-term change. But in the outcome orientation, it's new, better, breakthrough, sustainable change. Well, this is the results, literally, right? Problem orientation, people's entire lifetimes. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But in the outcome orientation, you really do get to design a life that you love. So remember this, right? This is the handout that I'm going to have available just to remind you of the two and how they work. Begin to watch what you focus on this week and see if you can't change your mind from focusing on the problems to focusing on the outcome you want. Just see if you can focus. Wow, wait a minute. I'm focused on the problem. So what do I want? What do I want here? The other thing I want you to begin considering is, what do you want? Many of us don't have a clue, right? Because the human operating system we've been using all our lives, we have never considered what we want, just what we don't want. Next session, we're going to get into that a bit when you learn about dynamic tension. But for now, focus on this, right? I want you to give yourself permission to answer, right? To get curious with yourself and be, in wonder. What do I love? I want you to take the week to watch yourself, considering what else might be, right? And so in each one of these little honeycombs, I want you to write exactly things that you love. I want you to fill up the entire honeycomb with different things that you love. And the reason I want you to do this is I want you to begin priming your mind to be able to think about what you might want. Now, I know that triggers some people, right? And I promise you, it is not a sin to ask for what you want. Actually, I believe it's a sin not to. And here's where I get that from. Whether you're a Christian or not, whether you go by the Bible or not, it's still a book of wisdom, right? And so in the Bible, Jesus says the greatest commandments, right, in Matthew 22, 37 through 38, is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind, and to love thy neighbor as thyself. Okay. So that's in Matthew 22. In Luke 10:27, he also says, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself. Well, this is so critical. It's actually in 3 of the 4 Gospels. In Mark 12, 30 through 31, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this: love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. So most of us have heard this a million times, but did you catch love your neighbor as yourself? If I were to love my neighbor the way I love myself, I would be, or I should be, in prison right now because I was horrible to me. Horrible. The things that I would say to myself, the way that I treated myself, it was horrible. The bottom line is, by loving loving ourselves the way we would want to love our neighbor, we all get to matter, right? We all need to matter. If you think being a people pleaser, appeasing others to keep the peace is saintly, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. It causes drama. It's an entirely different program. But if you read The Power of TED, you'll begin to understand why, right? We all need to matter equally, right? This 2023, let yourself matter. So next session, we're going to look at what the reality is, what soundtracks you play, what affirmations you want to create for yourself, and the power of dynamic tension to truly create a life we love so that we can be free in 2023. And so these are the two handouts, right? We've got the honeycomb, and then we've got just the reminder of how our human operating systems work and the two patterns of how we can think about things. Okay. And so these are the two handouts that I will make available for you. And I look forward to our next session together, session 3. Until next time, take care.